Welcome to the Smith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artworks creations. In this particular video, we will be looking at Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, crossing the Euphrates River, leaving Iraq's Babylonian step pyramid civilization of Ham as they entered into North Africa, bringing with them the first step pyramid of Babylon in North Africa, which appears as the first step pyramids of Saqqara. Now, when we talk about the fourth son of Jacob, that's referred to in Genesis 49:8, in the first book of the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible, we see the black African lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem, couching down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids. Now, when we view the Giza pyramids from a helicopter, we see 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid square basis. Now, when we go to the Dome of the Rock, the octagonal building structure that has a golden dome in Jerusalem, when we look at its stone rectangular window frame on the outer wall surface, we see 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid squares in the upper left and right hand corners and lower left and right hand corners. Now, this is where we connect the fourth son of Jacob as the biblical black African lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. We can now connect him to the Dome of the Rock outer wall stone rectangular window frame, Central Ethiopian cross. Now remember, we have 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid squares on the left and right hand side of a stone rectangular window frame on the outer wall surface area of the octagonal building structure called the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. Now when we look straight forward at the stone rectangular window frame, we see 5 blocks stacked on top of one another that they form a step that you walk upon, which represent the Babylonian step pyramids in Iraq, civilizations of Ham. Now, when we connect Psalms 105th chapter and 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, as 12 Islamic Aramaic speaking black Africans entering into ancient Egypt, starting the step pyramids of Saqqara, we must realize that the Babylonian step pyramids appears on the temple walls of Babylon, where when we micropixelate the wall surface data surrounding a stone cross-shaped building structure located in Ethiopia discovered upon the walls of Babylon, we see an African lion sphinx face. Now, upon the body of the African lion sphinx, we see Ethiopian Lalibala cross made of stone. This is upon the Babylonian step pyramid walls, which behind the Babylonian cross, which represent the Nibiru. Now the Nibiru is represented as a 6-point star that has a central circle upon the Babylonian temple walls, and also the Ethiopian Lalibala cross. Now this is where we make one of the greatest archaeological, theological, and astronomical discoveries of all time. When we reconnect Africa, Lalibala cross-shaped building structure, to Babylon's temple walls, Ethiopian stone cross. Now, when we do that in archaeology and theology, we will be destroying the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible. False man-based religious image of God, which is the Greek and Roman image of Jesus in the white robe that has a penis underneath his robe, as the false man-based religious creator of our entire solar system. The true Babylonian temple walls show the black African lion of Giza and Gaza and Palestine of Judah. Now this black African lion sphinx has his face image appears above the Ethiopian cross, and the royal headdress, when you look at the back area of it, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 circles. So picture a black African sphinx on the Babylonian temple walls with a Ethiopian Lalibala cross emerging down from his neck area into his lion's body area. Now, when we look at this on a blank sheet of paper, we have African lion thinks of Genesis 49:8 as the fourth son of Jacob, entering into ancient Egypt amongst the 12 sons of Jacob, where we currently see him today couched down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids. Now, on a blank sheet of paper, we see the Lalibala Ethiopian cross upon the Babylonian temple walls, below 9 circles. Now remember, these 9 circles are going around each other. So if you put 9 circles, small circles, in a huge circle, you will have 8 circles along the perimeter of the circle on a blank sheet of paper. 8 is a magic number. Now the 9th circle is in the center of 8 circles. So picture a circle on a blank sheet of paper. Now write 8 smaller circles in that circle. Okay. Now put a central 9th circle in the center. Now here's where we discover the Babylonian temple walls upon the royal Egyptian headdress of the fourth son of Jacob, who's referred to as the black African couching lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. Now this African lion sphinx, 9 circles upon his royal headdress, which appears upon the Babylonian temple walls. When you draw a line from the first to the second circle, okay, that's the first wall of the dome of the rock octagonal building structure, outer wall surface area, and from the second to the third circle, so that's 2 lines, and from the third to the fourth, and from the fourth to the fifth. So when you draw in a straight line connecting the sides of the circle, the 8 circles within the circle. So we have generated a dome in the rock octagon in Jerusalem connected to the Babylonian temple walls. Black African lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. Now this is where Lalibala, in a cross-shaped building structure located in modern Ethiopia, can be reconnected to the Babylonian temple walls in the book of Psalms, 105th chapter, 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, entering the entrance into ancient Egypt. Now, as we move our eyes from left to right from the Babylonian temple walls, we have identified the dome in the rock, stone rectangular window frame, central vertical rectangular section, and a horizontal rectangular section. So the dome in the rock in Jerusalem was all about Babylon's fourth son of Jacob, and the elongated headed African ancient of days to the first Adam in Genesis 1:26, and the second Adam that was created with a normal head in Genesis 2:7. Now, this is Babylon in Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, leaving the Iraqi Babylonian steppe pyramid civilizations of Ham as they entered into ancient Egypt, crossing the Euphrates River into North Africa. Now here's where the Babylonian temple 6-point star that has a central circle represents the sun. Now in ancient Egypt, the 3 square bases, when you're looking down upon the Giza pyramid from a helicopter, you see 3 square bases for the bases of the pyramids. Now these 3 square bases is actually represented within the stone rectangular window frame up on the dome of the rock octagonal building structure, outer wall, stone rectangular window frame area. So now when we connect the black African couching lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem to the ancient Babylonian temple walls, book of Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, leaving the modern Iraqi Babylonian steppe pyramid civilization of Ham as they entered into ancient Egypt, bringing the steppe pyramid of Saqqara into North Africa. Now we must identify the second character up on the wall, and this character is an elongated headed African ancient of days face. Now it looked like Pharaoh Akhenaten of Genesis 1:26, the first elongated headed African ancient of days civilizations of Adam. So we got Adam 1, that's Genesis 1:26, and Adam 2, that's Genesis 2:7. Now, the Babylonian temple wall says Adam was created in a test tube mixed with clay and water and hydrogen light. Now, the hydrogen light element is the human soul, as seen in Microbiology 101, growing around the chemical circular area of the human cell 75 in its ionized rotating circular wholly hydrogen light accretion plasma form. So the human soul is glowing, rotating around in a circle around the chemical circular area of the human cell in its hydrogen light form. Now, when we talk about the African lion sphinx connected to the Babylonian stele pyramids by way of the Babylonian temple walls, micropixelated surface wall data, we must flip the Babylonian temple wall upside down. That's the first process, because when we flip the Babylonian temple wall upside down, we're talking about the upside down wall 34. Now when we do this, we see that the African sphinx, okay, is back of the lion in Egypt, is supporting a 1, 2, 3, 4 grouping of pyramid squares. Now that means if you stack 5 blocks on top of one another, that they form a step that you walk upon on the left and right side, you have just created the Babylonian stele pyramids, which uncovers why in Africa the first stele pyramids look like 5 blocks stacked on top of one another on the left and right side, that they form a step that you walk upon. So black Africans connected to Babylon and the stele pyramid of Saqqara uncovers Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse 12, sons of Jacob. Now as we move forward to the Lalibela cross stele pyramid, when we look at the cross in Ethiopia from a helicopter, we see a cross-shaped building structure that was carved out of solid bedrock. Now the area that was left formed a square. So if you jump down in that square, once you reach the bottom and look up, you're looking at from the cubic dimensions of New Jerusalem, because the square is so deep. So for the first time, we have connected black African in Iraq, Babylonian stele pyramid civilization of Ham, crossing the Euphrates River, that thin strip of water that separates Africa from Asia and the Babylonian Iraqi stele pyramid civilizations. Now, when we look at the base of the Lalibela solid cross-shaped building structure that was carved out of solid bedrock, and the area that was left formed the square. The square is so deep that when you jump down in it, you look up, you're looking up from the cubic dimensions of New Jerusalem, because every cube has a square for a ceiling, a square for a floor, a square for a left and right wall. Now as we continue to observe the Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure located in Lalibela from a helicopter, we're looking straight down upon the cubic dimensions of New Jerusalem in its Masonic square form. Okay. Now we see, when we're looking straight down upon the African Lalibela cross-shaped building structure from a helicopter, we see the Babylonian temple walls cross. That's connected to a black African fourth son of Jacob, that's referred to in the first book of the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible, in the book of Genesis 49:8, as the lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, and Ethiopia. He's referred to as the fourth son of Jacob, or the Lion of Judah. So the Lion of Judah upon the Babylonian temple walls, his head has 9 circles, 8 circles around the perimeter, and then 1 central circle in the middle. So that's the image on the African lion sphinx royal headdress. So that means the African lion sphinx is revealing the origin, the architectural origin of the Jerusalem Temple Mount, octagonal building structure called the Dome in the Rock. So only when we look at 9 circles, well, okay, so you have 8 circles, small circles going around, and then the 9th circle is in the center. This is the image on the African lion sphinx Babylonian temple walls royal headdress. Now, when you connect a straight line on the side of these circles, you generate an octagonal building structure, the holy building in Jerusalem called the Dome of the Rock, which is 100% connected to the black African couching lion sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. Now we also see the Lalibela cross shaped building structure in Ethiopia. Now, when we move forward, we have a cross on the Babylonian temple walls representing the Lalibela cross and the Dome of the Rock outer wall stone rectangular window frame. So these are two architectural structures on the Babylonian temple walls that reconnect Psalms 105th chapter and 23rd verse, 12 sons of Jacob, entrance into ancient Egypt, North Africa, and bringing with them the Babylonian stele pyramids, where we see the first stele pyramid of Saqqara. Now, when we look at the Babylonian temple walls and compare its Ethiopian cross to the Lalibela cross-shaped building structure in Ethiopia, we see two things. We see two stone crosses, one vertical and rectangular section and a horizontal rectangular section on the Babylonian temple walls. And when we're looking down upon the cross-shaped building structure in Ethiopia, we see a vertical and horizontal stone rectangular building structure. Now, when we look at the base of the Ethiopian Lalibela cross, that's when we discover Babylon's stele pyramids. Now, remember, the Babylonian stele pyramids in Africa appears at the base of the cross-shaped building structure of Lalibela. Now that means when we go back, you'll see it on my video. Now when we go back to the Babylonian temple walls, upside down wall 34. Okay. The reason why you flip it upside down is because when you flip the wall upside down, that has the 9 circles upon it and the Ethiopian cross, then you see the Babylonian stele pyramids on the back of the African lion sphinx. So you're saying, well, what is that? Okay. Imagine if you fly to Egypt, okay, and then you get off your airplane with 5 big stone blocks. Now you approach the African lion sphinx of Genesis 49:8 as the lion sphinx of Judah, of Giza, Gaza, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. Now you have your big cranes stacked 5 blocks starting from the back of the black African lion sphinx couching in the Egyptian desert. This is how we uncover what's upon the ancient Babylonian temple walls upon the back of the sphinx. An African lion's body, a face upon a lion's body on the Babylonian temple walls. So you fly to Egypt with 5 big huge blocks on your airplane. Unload the 5 blocks in back of the sphinx in Egypt, which is Genesis 49:8, Ethiopian couching 4th son of Jacob. That brought the Babylonian stele pyramids into North Africa. That's the first stele pyramid of Saqqara. But now if you take the big cranes and lift each of the 5 blocks that you flew to Egypt in back of the African sphinx in front of the Egyptian pyramids. So now your crane will stack the first block at the back of the sphinx. Okay, so that means if you look at a cat in your living room, couched down on all 4s, a normal house cat, the back of the house cat, when you see him couched down, he looks like a sphinx, a house cat. So if you stack 5 blocks, 1 big huge block in back of the cat, and a second block going up to the in the back of the cat, the third block rests on the back of the cat. The 4th block, now we stacking 5 blocks on top of one another of a couching cat to represent the African sphinx 5 blocks stacked on top of one another on the back of the body of the sphinx on the Babylonian temple walls. Now when you could get to the 5th block, this is the image on the Babylonian temple walls. 5 blocks stacked from the back of the sphinx that they form a step. Okay, so the first block on the back of the sphinx, the second block you stack them on top of one another that they form a step that you walk upon. Now the third block rests on the back of the sphinx. The 4th block goes up almost to the Dome of the Rock 9 circles upon the royal Egyptian headdress of the African Sphinx on the upside down wall 34 on the Babylonian temple walls. So that means that when we look at the 5 blocks stacked on top of one another on the back of African Sphinx on the Babylonian temple walls, we see Babylon, globe earth step pyramid Mercator projection of the 12 sons of Jacob as they enter into ancient Egypt from Iraq's Babylonian step pyramid civilization of Ham in the Old Testament. Now here's where the first black African step pyramid, Saqqara, arises out of the sands in Africa, connected to a black African lion sphinx of the tribe of Judah, of Giza and Gaza in Palestine and Ethiopia and Jerusalem. Now, when we go to the Dome of the Rock outer wall in Jerusalem, okay, we see an octagonal building structure that has a golden dome. Now, the outer wall surface has stone rectangular window frames surrounding the entire building that has 1, 2, 3 grouping of pyramid squares in the upper left and right hand corners of the stone rectangular window frames and the lower left and right hand corner. So picture going to the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. The octagonal building structure has a golden dome, and taking a photograph of its outer wall. You see a stone rectangular window frame with Egyptian pyramids bases. Now remember, when you're viewing the Egyptian pyramids from a helicopter, you're looking straight down upon them, you see 1, 2, 3 square bases. When we look at the Dome of the Rock outer wall stone rectangular window frames connecting the African lion sphinx upon the Babylonian temple walls, 34. A black man's face on the lion's body that has the Ethiopian cross on below his neck area on the Babylonian temple walls, and he has 9 circles upon the African lion sphinx royal headdress. And that when you connect these 9 circles, they're going around in a circle, 8 circles and a central circle in the middle, so that's 9 circles. You see the Dome of the Rock origin, architectural origin, connected to the Babylonian Ethiopian cross shaped building structure located in modern Alabama. But the back of the African Sphinx is where we see the 5 blocks stacked on top of one another that they form a square. A step pyramid. Now this is where, when we go to the Dome of the Rock outer wall, we see the Ethiopian cross in a stone rectangular window frame in the center. So imagine in your living room, you take your window and break it up, or pour concrete in your window. So when it dries, you look at it, you have a stone rectangular window frame in your living room. So if you put 1, 2, 3 grouping of pyramid squares in the upper left and right hand corners of your living room stone rectangular window frame, and put 1, 2, 3 grouping of pyramid squares in the lower left and right hand corner, you have just placed Egyptian pyramids as you view them from a helicopter in your stone rectangular window frame. Upper left and right hand corners and lower left and right hand corners. So this is the image that appears in Jerusalem within the Dome of the Rock octagonal building structure, outer wall surface, stone rectangular window frame. Now, when you look at the central image within the Dome of the Rock stone rectangular window frame, you will see a vertical rectangular stone section and a horizontal rectangular stone section. This is the Babylonian cross of the African lion sphinx of ancient Jerusalem. So the black man's face on the lion's body was denied in theological racism in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible that's read in every neighborhood church. So all the ministers, preachers, and pastors have got the story wrong because of theological racism against the black African lion sphinx of Judah, who Babylonian temple walls images as the 4th son of Jacob. In accordance to Psalms 105th chapter 23rd verse, we see the 4th son of Jacob leaving Babylon, Iraqi land surface step pyramid civilization of Ham area, and entering into ancient Egypt. After he crossed the Euphrates River, a thin strip of water that separates Africa, the African continent, from Asia, the Babylonian Iraqi step pyramid civilization of Ham. Now, when we identify a black man in front of the Egyptian pyramids as the 4th son of Jacob, a black man's head upon a lion's body as the lion sphinx in front of the African pyramids, we connect the Babylonian step pyramid to the 4th son of Jacob. This is why when we look at the Dome of the Rock outer wall stone rectangular window frames, we see 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid square in the upper left and right hand corner and lower left and right hand corner, representing the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids, as you view them from a helicopter, where we see 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid square bases. Now, the central Ethiopian cross appears in the center of the stone rectangular window frame. So picture going to Jerusalem in the Middle East, the holy building of King David and Solomon. Now take your cameras with you. Now photograph the entire outer octagonal wall surface of the holy building of King David and Solomon. What you're going to see is stone rectangular window frames surrounding the entire outer wall surface. Now when you look at each stone rectangular window frame, you'll see they have Ethiopian crosses. That means a vertical rectangular section and a horizontal rectangular section. And then you see 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid square. Okay. Flanking the central Ethiopian cross. Now this is the image surrounding the entire holy building in Jerusalem. Black African lion sphinx of Judah smashes the Eurocentric Temple Mount views of a Greek and Roman image of a Savior, such as Jesus or Jehovah.